I mentioned Rocky a moment ago as another one of my favorite Christmas releases, and it is one of the holiday season's most emotionally satisfying movies. It's the story of a down-and-out Philadelphia prizefighter who gets a crack at the heavyweight title. The screenplay was written by a down-and-out New York actor named Sylvester Stallone, who insisted that he play the title role himself. The rest is turning out to be box office history. Stallone is an overnight star, and both he and Talia Shire, who plays his girlfriend, are favored for Oscar nominations. In this scene, we see the beginning of the love affair between Rocky and the painfully shy girl down the street.
I want to kiss you. You don't have to kiss me back if you don't want. I want to kiss you.
Talia Shire told me that one of the reasons she looked so shy and pale and trembling there was that she had the flu that day. But in any event, the whole movie puts the audience through an emotional ringer because Rocky wants to win more than a fight. He wants to win back his own self-respect. And the girl's fighting too. She's fighting the shyness that has always kept her hidden away from life. In this series of edited scenes, we see the build-up for the big fight.
You believe that America is the land of opportunity. Apollo Creed does. And he's going to prove it to the whole world by giving an unknown a shot at the title. And that unknown is you. It's the chance of a lifetime. You can't pass it by.
Oh, man, they says to me, you weren't born much of a brain, you know, so you better start using your body, right? So I've become a fighter.
Time, kid. Let's go.
My mother, she said you weren't born much of a body, so you better develop your brain.
The electricity is all over the place tonight as Rocky Balboa.
You know, I've been coming in for 6 years, and 6 years you've been sticking it to me. I want to know how come.
You want to know?
How about I wait here and you fight?
Aping is a loser.
No, you're looking very great today, you know that?
And if you don't watch out, you're going to end up dying alone.
Wish me luck, I'm gonna need it.
Our 50-to-1 underdog living a Cinderella story.
I think we make a real sharp couple of coconuts. I'm done with your shot. What do you think?
Rocky Balboa climbing into the ring now. Is that the world heavyweight champion, Apollo Creed?
It really don't matter if I lose this fight.
Is he supposed to be George Washington?
So all I want to do is go the distance.
The world heavyweight champion.
Seeing that bell rings and I'm still standing.
I want nostalgia!
I'm gonna know for the first time in my life
Creed.
I weren't just another bum from the neighborhood.
I want you! I'll break both your arms so they don't work for you. Now you're a big shot fighter on the way up. You don't even throw a crumb to your friend Paulie. You again, you owe me.
I take care of you, Paulie. I don't owe you nothing. And you made me feel like a loser. I'm not a loser.
Among the other actors you saw there were Burgess Meredith as the manager and Burt Young as the girlfriend's brother. And all the characters in Rocky inhabit a barren, emotional landscape. Director John Avildsen is very good at isolating them in their dreary existence so that when Rocky's big break comes, it's all the more dramatic. And the movie's ending, a confrontation with a heavyweight champion of the world, is one of the most draining, exhausting, and emotionally fulfilling scenes I've seen in a long time. But the one thing we shouldn't do, Gene, is say who wins the fight.
I won't do that, but I'm also not going to agree with you that the picture is all that terrific. I liked it, but not quite as much as you. And what I didn't like was two of those characters. One, the woman, she is so shy and retiring in the beginning of the picture. It's ridiculous. In fact, it makes her turnaround for me unbelievable. And even worse is her brother, Paulie, the guy who's screaming, I'm a loser. It's just embarrassing. It's like old kind of the worst method acting.
You're bringing too much logic to the movie. It seems to me that it works on an emotional level or it doesn't work at all. If you start thinking about it, it falls apart. But to me, it's got a lot of heart and a lot of spirit. and now Gene starts with Rocky II.
I think I'm speaking for both of us. Sequels and remakes are the bane of a film critic's existence.
I'll go along with that.
We want originality in the movies, but increasingly, Hollywood has given us the same boring old thing, Part 2. A thoroughly enjoyable exception to this epidemic of rotten sequels, though, is Rocky II. It may be a sequel, but it's not boring. Rocky II describes the further adventures of Rocky Balboa, the Philadelphia club fighter who... Come on, if you don't know what Rocky's story is, what are you doing watching this show? In the new film, Rocky is still in love with his formerly shy girlfriend, Adrian, played by Talia Shire. In fact, early in Rocky II, he hits her with the big question in pure Rocky style.
What are we doing here at the zoo?
Well, you know, I kind of like the zoo a lot. You know, it's a special place, especially when it snows. You know, it kind of smells clean and everything like that, you know? Don't you like the zoo? Huh?
I like the zoo.
Yeah, me too. You know, I was wondering, like, what do you think you're doing for, like, the next 40 or 50 years?
What do you mean?
I was wondering if you wouldn't mind marrying me very much.
What'd you say?
If you wouldn't mind marrying me too much.
Yes. I'd like to marry you.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
I'll be a good guy, I promise. I ain't gonna do nothing wrong. I ain't gonna leave no hair in the sink or nothing like that, you know? Oh, things are gonna be great, you know that? Hey, we're getting married, you know? You wanna come? You can get out for the weekend. I'll send you an invitation, Mr. Tiger. That's fantastic, isn't it? Oh!
A beautiful scene, a great scene. Some very funny and tender writing there. Sylvester Stallone wrote both Rocky and Rocky II. He's an excellent writer with a fine offbeat sense of humor. Just because he looks like a palooka doesn't mean he can't write. Now, in the middle of Rocky II, fight manager Burgess Meredith has to be convinced that Rocky is able to withstand a rematch with the champion, Apollo Creed.
Well, now, did you come here to show me that dog?
No. But can I have my locker back?
Here, what's on your mind?
Fight.
Fight? What? You want to go blind?
Ah, nobody's going blind.
Now, you heard what I said?
Yeah, the eye's great, no problem.
Now, listen, every pug thinks he has one good one left. Now, forget it, because your fighting career is over, kid.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
You know, I spent my whole life getting a career. I get one, and you tell me it's over.
What's the matter? You shook the hell out of the champion of the whole wide world. You'd be happy with that.
Well, maybe we can do better this time.
Or worse. What about that?
Hey, yo, Mick. I done you a favor last time, you know. Can you do me one this time?
I don't know. You don't understand me. Now, look, I want to show you something now. Test you. Now, look, you look right there at the end of my nose, will you?
Okay.
I want to test you.
Look at your nose.
You look at my nose. Now, when I bring my finger in, you tell me when you see it, will you?
There's the little thing, I see it.
That's good.
I told you, it's okay.
Now, wait. Now, we try the other lamp. Now, look here, will you? Now, tell me.
I see it.
Now, you see nothing.
That doesn't stop Rocky. Eventually, it's fight time once again with Apollo Creed. The ref gives instructions.
Okay, boys. I'm going to give you the instructions now, and I expect you to follow them. Watch the low punches and watch the kidney punches. Watch the rabbit punches. In case of a knockdown, you go to the corner I tell you to and stay there until I tell you to come out. Understand? Okay, boys, let's have a good fight.
He's going down.
And they do have a good fight. I really enjoyed Rocky II. I'm even looking forward to Rocky III. Rocky Balboa is a very colorful, very funny, thoroughly American character.
I think you make a very good distinction between what we, I think, both feel about remakes and sequels, which is it's a rip-off, another chance to go back to the public, get another $4, and this film, which is a real sequel. I mean, Rocky really gave us some people that we cared about, warm and human, colorful characters. We wanted to know what happened next. The first movie kind of stopped in midstream, and this one carries on from the exact moment. I really did enjoy it.
the thing on the sequels is, you know, we had Beyond the Poseidon Adventure a while back. That just repeated physical events. This film really repeats emotional events, and it's very fine. It's amazing. It is really the same film. There's the same running through the streets of Philadelphia, the same running up the stairs of the Philadelphia Museum. There's the same kind of music in the picture, and yet it all works. Even ends with a big fight.
The big fight. In my opinion, a better fight scene than the first film, as a matter of fact.
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
Certainly leaves you leaving the theater shaking your head, you know, with joy, really, and exhilaration. And we might as well say, as a matter of fact, that there is going to be a Rocky III, and you heard it here first. Apollo Creed retires. He becomes Rocky's trainer. Rocky decides to fight one more fight, and where do you think the fight is held? Only one place that's possible, right? The Roman Coliseum.
So. I'm looking forward to that. This is really, I think, a fairy tale for adults, and just like little kids like to hear the same old stories, this story could go on for a long time for me, too.
Well, I guess Rocky III is going to be the last one, but you were right, I think, to talk about the humor in the film, too. It's not just all serious punching and so forth. A lot of humor, and if offbeat humor is one of the endearing things about Rocky II.
Our next movie is Rocky III, and you can probably guess the titles of the two pictures that came before it. How does this one rank with the other two Rocky films? It's not as good. There's nothing new in this picture, and some of the most interesting personal relationships in the familiar world of Rocky Balboa are ignored. This story, this time, is an awful lot like the beginning of Rocky II. Rocky, played by Sylvester Stallone, of course, has gotten fat and lazy because as heavyweight champion, he's been fighting a bunch of pushovers with his manager, Mickey Burgess Meredith, consciously ducking the most obvious challenger in the land, a tough guy with a mohawk haircut called Clubber Lang.
Get out while you can. Don't get this sucker no statue. Give him guts. I told you I wasn't going away. You got your shot. Now give me mine.
Why don't you get the hell out of there?
Shut up, old man. I ain't going nowhere. And why don't you tell all these nice folks why you've been ducking me? Politics, man. This country wants to keep me down. Keep everybody weak. They don't want a man like me to have the title because I'm not a puppet like that fool up there.
You know, you got a big mouth, you know?
Why don't you come out and close it, Balboa? Come on. Come on.
It's time. This guy's crazy. Don't listen to him.
The little man don't want to come to me. Then I'll come to you people and lay out the truth. I am ranked number one. One! That means I'm the best. But this bum been taking the easy matches, fighting other bums. I'm telling you and everybody here, I'll fight him anywhere, anytime, for nothing. But you people ain't never gonna see it happen because he's gonna retire. You see, he don't fight no real man. He fight them setups.
What? You're a disgrace to this sport.
Shut up, old man. You and that chump don't know where to come from. Boy, your family doing real nice, ain't it? You call yourself a fighter? Prove it now. Give me that same chance. The way you've been ducking is a disgrace. If he ain't no coward, why don't he fight me then?
I can't listen anymore of this. Hey, anytime.
I don't care what your rank. You don't get no shot, and I mean that.
I'm glad you people are saying this here.
What are you doing? I want to fight this guy.
Well, you got him. But you'll fight him without me.
What are you saying?
It's finished. Yes, I'm finished. I don't want no more of this. I don't want no more. You understand? None of it.
Of course, the film has a rousing fight to conclude the picture, but before that final fight, I found myself bored by a lot of what was going on. There was no continuation of the interesting and developing love story between Rocky and his wife that was so good in the other pictures. And I didn't particularly enjoy seeing Rocky go after another loudmouth black fighter. That seemed to be pandering to anybody that has racist feelings in the audience. And frankly, I didn't find Rocky's character as warm and as appealing as I did in the early pictures. What's missing, I think, is the colorful writing of the first two films, although Rocky III, like the others, was written by Sylvester Stallone. And so what we have in Rocky III is just another brutal fight. It's not a bad film, just a tired and loud one.
I kind of agree with you. I did enjoy the fight. I suppose it's brutal. All fights are brutal. The last two pictures, which you liked, ended in brutal fights, too.
That's okay.
And that's entertaining. But what I missed here was Rocky.
Yes.
Rocky, this kid from the original picture with the colorful way of talking and the funny lifestyle.
Right.
The turtles named Cuff and Link.
Right.
His shy, little bashful way of approaching Adrian and asking her for a kiss.
But funny.
All that's gone. It's funny.
Yes.
And warm. And all of that is gone. And Rocky is just kind of a loudmouth, and he's lost all of his human dimension, and the human relationships in the picture are missing.
Yeah.
Adrian isn't even around at the end of the big fight.
If I had Stallone here, I would say, why did you just write about yourself? I mean, why Rocky character? Why not Rocky and all of his connections with the people? They're just cardboard figures up here anymore. I wonder if he couldn't get the actors to do bigger roles. Maybe they're tired of the series and he's going it on his own.
I doubt if that's the case. I think he wrote it this way. Another thing you mentioned was Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed. I agree. It's
excellent.
a good performance.
Yes, he's always good in this
series. The best
series.
thing in this movie, but let me ask you this question. Why did they change Apollo Creed? In the original picture, he was a loudmouth, grandiose, colorful, jive-talking, and smart Muhammad Ali type. Now he's turned into this noble, pious, inspirational, serious, thoughtful guy.
I know why.
Wouldn't it have been more fun to have Apollo Creed as he used to be, still working with this white guy and trying to teach him how to fight?
I think they did it to hedge the bets, because they had one loudmouth black, so now they got to get the noble black. And I think that's where this racism thing comes into play, and I think they made a big mistake.
Well, I'm not sure this is racist, but I agree with you basically on the fact that the movie doesn't work as well.
As most everyone knows by now, in Rocky IV, Rocky Balboa, the working man's hero, fights a machine-like Russian champion named Ivan Drago. How tough is Drago? This tough.
Shall we have a demonstration? A normal heavyweight averages 700 pounds of pressure per square inch. Drago averages 1,850 pounds. But that's so the result quite obvious. And what results are those? Whatever he hits, he destroys.
But before Rocky fights Drago, Apollo Creed, the ex-champ, decides he wants to win back his self-respect by taking on Drago himself. We suspect it's a dumb move.
Can I ask you something? Well, you know, the fight you're having against the Russian, you think maybe it ain't against him?
If it's not him, Stallion, lose it again.
But you think maybe it's like you against you? What do you think?
No, I think you're really onion brain damage. That's what I think, Stallion.
Well, maybe, but really, I'm speaking the truth here, pal.
Are you? I don't think I want to hear this, Stallion.
Oh, come on. Hey, Paolo, look. You were a great fighter, no doubt about that. But look, we got to face the facts, too. You don't want to believe it, but maybe the show is over.
And that's easy for you to say. You're still on top.
Of course, Drago beats Apollo. If Drago lost, think about it. He'd be back in Russia and the whole movie would be over. Instead, he creams Apollo, and early on in their fight, he's whipping Rocky.
What's happening out there?
He's winning. I see three of them out there.
Get the one in the middle. Right. Get the one in the middle.
It'll take more than luck for Rocky to survive this round. Rocky's been hit with bombs.
Rocky Balboa trying to stay in the middle of the ring against the big Russian.
Now, this may surprise you, but I really like Rocky IV a lot.
That does surprise me. I'm amazed.
Well, then I'm going to be amazed at you. Let me explain why. Okay. I knew what was going to happen in this picture. I mean, everyone knows what's going to happen in this picture, yet I got caught up in both of its fights. I even got a little bit caught up, this is almost embarrassing to admit, in the 15th round of that fight, I thought somebody's going to play a trick on me. I got caught up in it. I enjoyed Rocky's brief moments with his wife and his son, which I had wanted in Rocky III and didn't get enough of. In fact, my only complaint is that there weren't enough of those scenes in this Rocky IV. The original Rocky worked because of its love story, I think, as well as its boxing. And Stallone, the writer and director, has de-emphasized the love angle throughout all of the series, and to their detriment. But what he does know how to do, and this is what makes this film work, is create a great, colorful villain. First, the brash Apollo Creed in #1. Then Rocky II, my favorite, the villain was really Rocky himself, his overblown ego. Then in Rocky III, that mad dog, Clubber Lang, played by Mr. T. Now, even Drago, well played by the Adonis-like Dolph Lundgren. He's a great villain, and we sit back there and enjoy this film. It's a great hour and a half to eat popcorn by, and I want more, because he can make another great villain. I want Rocky V.
I don't want Rocky V. Please don't give me Rocky V. I thought
you'd rather have Halloween V or something.
I wouldn't rather have Halloween V, and I don't want Friday the 13th V. Okay. What I'm amazed about is that you wanted Rocky IV. This movie is the bottom of the barrel. At the beginning, the first half hour, Every scene is obligatory. He has to check in with Adrian. He has to talk to his brother-in-law. Here's little Rocky Jr.
What would you have him do? Meet a whole bunch of new people?
Well, I think that would be interesting. Yes, as a matter of fact. He had a great idea in 1976 and made a great movie based on that idea about a real human being named Rocky Balboa and his touching love affair with this girl. Now Balboa has turned into this egotistical monster who takes over the entire movie. The other little people in his life have their run-ons. Then there's the fight at the one-third mark where somebody loses, and the fight is the two-third mark where Rocky wins. This movie is absolutely formula. It is predictable. It is uninspired, and it is not exciting. And even the fight at the end, which usually works for me, didn't work this time.
Roger, you've liked some of the others in the series too, so they've been formula
as a matter of fact,
they have been, and you knew exactly what's going to happen then.
That's right.
And I'm telling you that this time, this villain, we've complained about Clint Eastwood not coming up with great villains. We've complained with the James Bond series not coming up with great villains. It's a common flaw.
Let me ask you one question.
Tell me, is Ivan Drago a good villain or a bad villain?
Let me ask...
no, answer that one first.
He's a moderately interesting villain, but let me ask you an even better question. How come he never has a single scene alone with his wife? The woman who does all of his speaking for him. How come she's such a big character and has 9 times more dialogue than he has?
Because he's supposed to be stolid and a tough Russian.
Maybe
punched, she talked.
Maybe it's because she's played by Stallone's girlfriend.
I think she did a nice job.
Because I think if he'd been allowed to take over all of that dialogue and be more of a character, it would have been a lot better than him sitting there silently while Bridget Nielsen has all of the best lines.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Well, I do think so.
As I said, he punched, she talked.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Our first film is Rocky V, and it's a sometimes pleasing finale for the series. Pleasing when it gives us back the original Rocky of the streets that captivated us in the first movie. This final chapter opens with Rocky punch-drunk from the fight in Rocky IV.
I can't. I can't stop my hands from shaking.
His brain is damaged and he retires. Then, when bad investments force him back to his Philadelphia neighborhood, Rocky turns trainer, helping a young fighter, a young Rocky named Tommy Gunn, battle for a title shot.
Listen, the only difference between the hero and the coward is the hero's willing to go for it, all right? Willing to take the shot, okay? Now this guy over here is scared too. You're scared, he's scared, you're both scared. Remember?
Rocky becomes so involved with this young fighter, he stops paying attention to his son, played by Stallone's real son, Sage.
You don't worry about it.
I gotta worry about it. I mean, the deal was we were supposed to be tight, right?
But Tommy, you're tight with him too, huh?
But when Tommy becomes champ, a Don King-type promoter tries to manipulate a fight between him and Rocky.
This guy here, he was using you for the bait. He wants to get you and me in the ring. That's what he wants us to fight each other, you know, to make the money, right? He don't care about you. Tommy don't care about me neither.
That side of him in the hat is kind of sweet, especially when you know it's probably going to be the last time you'll see it. The 2 big fights in the movie are also very well done, and Rocky's moments in the street are effective. What's missing, I think, here is a big love scene between Rocky and his wife, Adrian. Love scenes, I think, are as important as fights in this series, and I also would have loved to have seen the more daring ending that was originally planned in the film. It's received a lot of publicity, in which Rocky dies in Adrian's arms. Still, I like this guy with his dumb hat, and I vote thumbs up on the movie.
I vote a thumbs down, Gene. I thought that the structure of the film was completely predictable from the other films. And although I like the fact that he's got his hat on again and he's back on the streets of Philadelphia, that was only a reminder to me of the richness and the texture and the humor and the humanity of the dialogue and the characters in the first movie, Rocky, which, remember, won the Academy Award for Best Picture of the Year. And now it's just a series. You have to find a new villain every time. You have to end with a big fight. The pieces are all just plugged in. There's no real juice in this movie.
Okay, well, I was fooled by the fight in the picture. It doesn't end technically with the fight, and I enjoyed the ending that was chosen. It goes in a different direction. The other thing is, I think that there is a lot of his humor is still in the film, with that character's humor. And when he walks through the streets, the only thing that I think is wrong with it is that it is missing the love element that was so strong, not only in 1, but in 2.
Well, the whole love was the subject of the first Rocky.
I believe so.
And Adrian, ever since then, has been kind of put on the shelf. And it always seemed to me like if it were Adrian and Rocky facing the world, they'd be stronger pictures.
Number 2 had that. This one could have used it.
Okay.